All right, today we're jumping into something really fascinating, China's robotaxi revolution. But here's the twist. It's not just about the cool tech, it's about the money. How do you actually make a profit with these things?
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the big problem at the heart of it all. Then look at the race to make money. Compare what the giants like Baidu and DiDi are doing versus the scrappy startups. And finally, look at what this all means for the future.
Okay, first things first. We've got to talk about what I'm calling the robotaxi paradox. It's where the dream of the future meets the hard reality of today.
I mean, you see them on the streets, right? Self-driving taxis are a real thing. So why on earth are they losing so much money? The tech is here, but the business case is a massive puzzle. Let's figure out why.
Okay, quick tech check, because this is super important. We're talking about what's called L4, or Level 4 autonomous driving. Now, don't let the jargon fool you. This isn't some sci-fi car that can drive you anywhere, anytime, through a hurricane. No way. Think of it more like a really, really smart train on invisible tracks. It operates perfectly, but only within very specific pre-mapped areas. It has its boundaries.
And this is where the dream crashes right into reality. The whole point, the entire promise is to get rid of the driver and their salary, right? But you can't. By law, you still need a human safety monitor sitting in the driver's seat. So you're paying a person to sit there, and the car itself costs a fortune, way more than a regular taxi. The math just doesn't work. Not yet, anyway.
All right, so if the basic model is broken, what do you do? Well, you get creative, and that's exactly what's happening. This has kicked off a frantic race, not just to build better tech, but to figure out a business model that actually makes sense right now.
So let's look at the heavyweights in the ring, Baidu and DiDi. These are two of the biggest names in Chinese tech, but you'll see they have completely different game plans for solving this puzzle.
Baidu, you probably know them as the Google of China, they've been at this forever. And their big moment came back in 2017. Their CEO does this live stream from a self-driving car on a busy Beijing highway, and, well, it gets a little controversial. He gets fined. But here's the crazy part. That whole incident basically forced the government's hand. They had to create rules for road testing, which ended up speeding up development for everyone. Talk about a blessing in disguise.
So what's Baidu's big play? They're going for the Intel Inside model. They don't really want to be the Uber of robotaxis, no. They want to be the company that sells the brains, the core technology platform, they call it Apollo, to all the car manufacturers. Let someone else deal with the messy business of running a taxi fleet.
Now, DiDi, which is basically the Uber of China, is coming at this from the total opposite direction. For them, robotaxis aren't the end-all be-all. They're just another piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. They already have millions of users in their app. The robotaxi is just a new tool in their belt.
And their vision is all about what they call mobility as a service. So, picture this. You tap one button in the DiDi app that says, "Get me home." The app doesn't just call a car. It figures out the fastest route, books you a subway ticket, then has a robotaxi waiting for you right as you walk out of the station. And maybe for that last little bit, it points you to a shared bike. It's about connecting the whole journey seamlessly.
Okay, the giants are cool, but for me, this is where it gets really interesting. The startups. They don't have the deep pockets of a Baidu or a DiDi, so they have to make some really radical, bold bets to even have a chance.
And just look at the different strategies here. They are not all chasing the same prize. You've got Pony.ai, and they're like, hey, maybe robo-trucks for logistics will make money first. So they're doing both. Then there's Deeproad.ai, kind of following Baidu's playbook, just trying to be a pure tech supplier. WeRide is all in on being the operator, the one running the cars and buses. And then you have AutoX. They're playing a completely different game.
Yeah, AutoX are the purists, the idealists. And their CEO has this great quote that sums it all up. The first person to eat crab was the one who invented the net to catch it. What he means is, while everyone else is scrambling to make today's limited tech work, they're focused on building the perfect tool first, a truly fully driverless car, what we call L5. They're building the net, even if it means they don't catch anything for a while.
WeRide's idea is pretty clever, actually. They looked at that expensive safety monitor problem and thought, what if we treat it like the gig economy? Instead of hiring full-time salaried employees, they're testing a model where people can just sign up for shifts as a safety monitor, just like an Uber or Lyft driver. That could slash their operating costs.
So you've got all these different companies with all these different strategies. What does this all add up to? What does the future of driverless tech in China actually look like?
Well, first off, one thing is crystal clear. The technology is getting better,
And it's getting better fast. I mean, just look at this. This shows how far away the cars could recognize an adult pedestrian. The improvement between just 2019 and 2020 is huge. We're talking a massive leap in capability in a single year.
And it's not just for adults. We see the exact same dramatic jump when it comes to spotting smaller, less predictable things, like children.
And again, for tricky-to-track objects like bicycles. This right here, this rapid improvement, is precisely why the conversation is shifting. It's not just about, can the tech work anymore? It's about, okay, the tech is getting there, so how do we build a business around it?
And you know what's so cool about this? It's turning out not to be the kind of winner-take-all bloodbath we see in a lot of tech races. Instead, what's emerging is this really diverse ecosystem. You've got your tech platform players like Baidu, your service integrators like DiDi, your hands-on operators like WeRide, and your moonshot purists like AutoX. They're all finding their own lane.
So you might be asking, why is this all happening so fast in China specifically? Well, it really boils down to two big things. One, you have massive government support. And two, many of their cities are growing so fast that they have urgent, massive traffic problems. They need new solutions, so they're willing to try things out.
And if you want to point to one moment that was a major catalyst, it was the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. That event was basically a giant national showcase for robotaxis and robobuses. It put the tech front and center for the whole country to see, and really paved the way for the public to start getting comfortable with it.
Which brings us to the big, final question. Is one of these strategies, the tech supplier, the service operator, the purist, going to come out on top and win the whole race? Or is the future something different? A future where they all kind of need each other, building their own roads that eventually connect into one giant transportation network? That's the billion-dollar question they're all racing to answer.